Okay, today we're going to jump in. We're going to talk about the amazing new feature that's released on ChatGPT, the ability to create custom GPTs to do tasks and to replace yourself and even replace different VAs or employees that were doing repetitive and even more complex tasks. So let's jump into it. So if you haven't already watched it, you should definitely check out My First Million podcast. It's a great podcast, and one of the ones I listened to was this one, and it was an interview of Saeed Mohiz Balhaki from WordPress Beginner, the founder. It's actually $100 million gross revenue company, which is pretty amazing because his margins are very big. And this company makes over $100 million. Granted, he buys a lot of products and he sells a lot of the products that he promotes, which is an amazing way of doing a blog. But what he said is one of the greatest new things that's going to be coming about, one of the greatest opportunities is to create custom GPT models for any different business use case or business industry. And right now, that is going to be unleashed right here on ChatGPT. Remember, you do need the paid account, and last time I had a friend try to sign up, it said he wasn't able to sign up because it's oversubscribed. Maybe they don't have enough servers or computing power to do it. But if you do have access, let's jump into it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to click Explore. Here are a few of the different ones that they've created. A few new ones come out occasionally. Actually, these are all the same. I've tried quite a few of them. This is just creating imagery, but we're going to try to do this one. I've tried it once. It didn't work that well, so I've learned a lot more for actually creating a video. So we go to Custom GPT, and you can do Configure. It gets a little more complicated, but let's just go to Create. What would you like to make? All right, let's just put in something simple like this. So this is the simple name, and we're going to call this up front. We're going to call this V2. I made one of these before. We want to make it better. So this is a V2 extracting first names from email usernames. So basically I have a long list of emails. Some are like hello, howdy, hey, reservations, RSVP, and some are real names. So I want to find out which ones actually are connected to real people, so I'm messaging real people and I can extract the first name when I message them directly. This is something that any person can do, but it takes so much time to get a VA to go over 20,000 emails to just pull out the first names, and there's human error, just like there's ChatGPT error too. All right, so for this GPT, I'm thinking name extractor would work. Do you like that suggestion? I just say no, keep what I have. And then it does a really cool thing where it creates an actual profile picture, which I think is very cool. And look what they created. Yeah. So what's nice is rather than just being like coding or like very simple, very firm structure in terms of different boxes to fill out, it just asks you questions, and sometimes there's errors. Great, let's define the GPT's role. Think about specific tasks, questions to answer. Should it guess first names from email usernames? Okay, great. This is where I want to be. Okay, so let's go over what I wrote. I made it pretty simple, but one really important thing when you're talking to a GPT or any sort of model is like pump it up. Like pretend it's like an employee who lacks little self-confidence and doesn't know what his direction is. So in this, I said you were very good at determining what first names are in various email usernames. So let's make this a little bigger. And that's basically what we're doing. And then I just said to clarify, a username is evan.ware in an email, evan.ware@gmail.com. The first name is Evan. So I just kind of give him a little example. It should already know that. I shouldn't need to do that, but I'm just giving, since I've already done this without perfect results, I'm giving it extra clarity. And I say again, you are very talented at the English language and you know what words are words and what names are names, because a lot of times we hit RSVP, different things that show up that are not names, that it counts as names. And we want to use most common American names because my lists are from America. I also want you to look through all the usernames in the email column and extract out just the first name and put it in a first name V2 column. If you see an email username which you can't identify as a first name, then leave the result as a question mark. It makes it really easy to identify which ones it didn't know. And if there's no email, sometimes there's no email, then you just leave it as a blank. To give you a reference, here's an example of, and then I created another GPT that's going to return the 500 most common female names and male names on a CSV file. So let's see if it can actually generate this much. In this way, it's going to be able to actually reference the most common names and then maybe learn from that rather than just tapping into, because names are almost infinite if you combine all the different cultures. And since the lists are from America, I'm just guessing, you know, Tom, Chris, Terry, Tim, Lucy. There's some very, very basic names that if you were to extract the top 500 names, it'll pretty much calculate the majority of the results you get. So you got to see if they actually did that. And then we can also say most common names USA. I mean, that could be great. So I'm just going through this and it's like, look, how many times I see Thomas? Thomas happens, Thomas. So maybe it was just like a fake output. Mary, there's like only 10 names that just keep repeating. So it has a problem when it fills up a list. It just keeps repeating things. So for the actual, list of 500 most common male and female names, you would need to refer to a comprehensive list of the official records. So I said, okay, refer to this list and remake the CSV file. Let's see if it does it. So this is an issue sometimes. I'm not making this super straightforward because I'm giving you all the troubles that happen when you're doing this. It doesn't have access to a lot of, especially anything government websites. So you're actually going to have to do a lot of this work yourself, or at least download the sheet, give it to them, and they can clean it up. So we'll go here, state specific, territory specific, national data. What percentage of all names in the top 1,000 names? I mean, that's pretty good. This is like weird, very unique data. Okay, let's go to national data. All right, so this is what I got from that, just to let you know. It gives you a list of the year of birth, all the way, I'm not going to get like 8. Maybe I'll choose my birth year, 87, about 36. Seems about right. And that'll be the text file that we use. Female, male, and we can even have them convert that file into something a little bit more usable. Okay, so I said, can you take this file and just extract the first name and put it in one column on a CSV file? Perfect. We can go to names, go to 87. A lot of business owners or people about that age. Who knows if that error is actually going to be a real error? All right, so it actually worked. Here are all my first names, 1987, one column. All right, let's train this guy now by attaching that over here. Let's attach it back to our model. To give you a reference of here are some of the most common names in USA. See the file. What's the name? Most common names. Okay, so now I've actually added that actual file to the actual end. So it's actually going to be able to reference and find those first names if GPT is being stupid. So it takes a little bit of time to update the GPT. We'll just make this a little smaller, see what the next thing it asks for is. Okay, so I added a little bit. Here it asked me something interesting. It was just, is there any concise constraints or limitations you would like for this GPT to emphasize or avoid? Should it maintain a formal tone? I mean, these things don't even matter, but I just said that sometimes it should learn from the CSV file and its knowledge of first names in the USA and across the world and be able to extract those first names, even when connected to a last name, or if it's connected to like a last name initial, like Evan W at google.com. And then I said the tone doesn't matter, but formal is nice. Its result is a CSV file with one added column. All right, so let's see what happens after this. So just to let you know, this does take a little bit. Like maybe you're going through 45 seconds just waiting to update the GPT for each one of these updates. But remember, that only happens once, and then you can just use it very quickly. All right, so I uploaded this sheet of 300 leads. Remember, I've tried this same thing out with another GPT I made, and we're seeing if this is going to be any better. Sometimes I'm noticing that if you don't give it very specific instructions and maybe even attach example names for it to cross-reference against, it doesn't quite do that perfect job that you're looking for. Okay, so already at looking at this, it's giving me a result. It's giving me like 5 examples, and it says info, question mark, perfect, being, that's not even a name, question mark, Patrick. I got Patrick out of Patrick. That's perfect. Book, good. Guest relations, nothing. So now I'll just say download the CSV. All right, so here is the results I got. Just throw it in Google Sheets. This is the business name, and this is the email. So what helps is we'll just throw this email up front, and we'll put these 3 names. This is from my old model 1, old model 2, and we'll compare it to new model 3. This is the first model, second model, but it didn't exactly name it right. So we're going to see actually which one usually it puts it in the very last column, but maybe it didn't do that here. So what do we got right here? First name, username. All right, info. So it got all the usernames out, which is completely unnecessary, but this is, okay, I guess that's nice. It extracts this username directly. Okay, so let's just see what it did. So it extracted the username, put it right here, whether it's a name or not. And then based on my question mark result, it showed which names it actually extracted. So I see a Mike C that could have been something, so it's always nice to see if it did good. You can even do a check mark, or you can put an X because it reads that better. If it did a bad result, and we could keep training it. Mike Jobski, Williamsburg, that's not a name. I think it did Natalie was good. Chris, Sam, excellent. Santa Clara, Ross, Juliet. Because if we look over here, this is the last time I did it. Did Juliet. It didn't do David last time. Jay and Rob. It really did a great job on this one. Jay and Rob, hiring info. Elisa, James, perfect. Maya, Tissian, that's not even a name. See, it got a bad one here. It didn't over here. There's really no names here. Hello. Got a Jason. Did it miss a bill? I think this is amazing. Carissa. It didn't get a Carissa last time. Abdullah. It knows Abdullah. That's probably not a top name in America. DJ. James. Robert. Yeah, I think this did a great job. So what I'm saying is that from this learning, we know that it helps to give a reference material. Because if you just say, find the top names, it won't do a very good job of that. We even did that example where it said, just fill in the sheet with the top names. it doesn't pull that data because it can't actually access some of these government websites to pull data from because, I don't know, maybe there's a block on the back end. So what we did find out is you can easily create a GPT. And here's one of the best parts is that if you have a really powerful GPT and you decide to save it right here, we can make it public. And that's a great thing because if people start using it and they like it, somehow ChatGPT is going to pay you some percentage or some portion. So this is going to be like an app store, but if you get enough users and they use it enough, I don't know how the payment is going to go, but either they pay to use it once or just based on usage, kind of like, YouTube Premium is that you pay 20 bucks a month for YouTube Premium and you actually pay some of that money. That 20 bucks goes to all the different videos you watch that don't have ads. So that's a great part of this. So it might even make you want to make it public. I think you need to actually establish your brand or something. I think I need to set up my account, select a domain. It's a little bit more to do. Only me and people with a link. So remember to save your GPT because this is one of the most important things. So this is just a basic model. There's so many other things you can do with this. Anything can be automated. Anything you had people doing repeatedly can be completely removed from your workflow and just replace the GPT. So that's what I got today. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll be talking to you soon.